mercenary. I owe you my life.
How did you get out of your coma in the village?
I don't know. All I know is that I opened my eyes and heard the sound of fighting. I just had the time to grab my weapon and get out into the village square. It looked like the general of the Deadwalkers was waiting for me. Sometimes, the sense of duty is more powerful than the pain of wounds.
So that business of cures was useless.
You'll never know. Maybe I would have woken up sooner, but I don't blame you. From what I was told, I was in a desperate state, and you had other things to do.
Do you know Relmar well?
I knew him well. A long time ago. He and I were milk brothers. We grew up together in my... But life goes on, and by the time we were adults, we were forced apart. Relmar defied my father's authority, and openly rebelled against his people. He betrayed us.
He had a good reason for it.
A good reason? What reason? Dragging us into a war with the Ice Lords without preparation?
His cause was just. He refused to watch the other peoples of Vertiel suffer and fall one after the other. If the elves had helped, maybe we wouldn't be here today.
We could talk about how just his cause is for days. How could we know what would have happened? Maybe we wouldn't be here today. He wanted to act fast. He was always impulsive. But that behavior led him to reject his king, and his best friend at the same time. He betrayed us, and his recent feats of arms can't change anything, even if it wounds my heart.
Why did the elves enter the war so late?
That decision cost us dearly. It isn't easy to watch the other peoples of Vertiel suffer, but our king felt that we needed to gain time. We had information about the Deadwalkers that led us to be careful. Long before the war officially began, they were already crushing all of their opponents far to the north.
And you said nothing? You could have warned the other kingdom.
We told them. We told them to avoid the fight, to flee and regroup. They didn't listen to us. So we preferred to stay neutral and not provoke the Ice Lords. They must have known they couldn't defeat us without losing a large part of their strength. So they saved the greatest prize for the last. We thought that our best trained troops could hold them. We underestimated them, and neglected to take into account the fact that each army they defeated made them stronger.
Are you from Caraldthas?
Yes, I was born there. I spent most of my life there. Caraldthas is one of the most ancient of our cities. We knock things down so seldom that the city is built in layers. But I've unfortunately never visited the underground levels, and I'm unfamiliar with the passageways there. I suppose that's why you asked the question.
I'll be going now.
Vulcan, I hope you've got good news.
I still haven't found your passageway.
It's there, somewhere, and we have it.
Do the Deadwalkers still hold the main road?
Still, and it's a problem. We won't be able to secure the perimeter for long with the undead nearby.
I'll take care of those walking corpses.
Thank you. That should give my men enough time.
I have some questions. How did you survive the Battle of Caraldthas?
I was lucky. When we got wind of the arrival of the Deadwalkers, our king sent me to reconnoiter. I was outside Caraldthas when they attacked. Over the days that followed, I tried to gather together as many survivors as I could.
Do you have any information about what's going on in the city?
Very little. I can only trust what the last soldiers who... Apparently, most of the Deadwalker troops have left. Including... He assigned one of his concubines to control the region, but I have no idea what kind of creature we're dealing with. That said, if the Ice Lords keep to their usual tactics, they'll clean up the last pockets of resistance and start transferring their...
Do you know if there's any other resistance in Ver?
The rare information I get these days is not good. Several human kingdoms have capitulated. The Chiller has apparently laid waste to one of the major elf settlements in the east. We have no news of the others. There are probably pockets of resistance, but they are tiny and have no hope against the Deadwalkers.
One more reason to hold here. We are Vertiel's last hope. What can you tell me about the Prince?
I understand what you're asking. Is he up to it? The answer is yes. Since the start of this war, The prince has always been in the front line. He has demonstrated skill and courage, sometimes endangering his own life. He has, of course, taken some unnecessary risks, but the situation was different then.
I see. The young prince wanted to prove to his father that he was deserving of his affection.
He was merely seeking to protect his people.
I'll be going now.
Just in time, Vulcan. I'm afraid I need your help again.
What happened to you?
To me, nothing. It's about my people. Have you ever heard of the Stone of Souls?
No. Worth a lot?
No. I mean, yes. It's priceless, but it's...
I'm not sure I follow you.
I'll explain. Every elf possesses a Stone of Souls, which contains the memories and emotions from all the greatest moments of his life. These stones are passed from generation to generation. It's a way of preserving the memories of our people. With all of those who died at Caraldthas, there are thousands of stones abandoned in the city. We cannot just leave them there. You are no doubt the one who will be traveling to our city the most. If you could bring back as many of them as possible, I'd be eternally grateful. Actually, all of my people will be in your debt.
All right, I'll take care of it. But don't expect to see me dancing around with a wheelbarrow full of rock.
That would in fact be an amusing sight. But I do get your meaning. Even if we manage to save only a very few, we will at least
I'll see what I can do. Let's change the subject. I have a few... I'm guessing this is not the way you'd always imagine coming back to you.
For years now, I've been waiting for the day when I could go back to my city. But deep inside, I've dreamt. If I was ever coming back home, it could only mean one of two things. Either I'd been captured by my people, or I'd been forgiven because I was right. I would have preferred being captured. My city has fallen, and I do not recognize it.
This is no time to feel sorry for yourself. This war is not over yet, and your people need you now more than ever.
We have been swept away. There is no more army.
How long have you been harassing the Deadwalker army without getting caught by your people?
Nearly 7 years.
7 years of guerrilla warfare, and you're still here. You know exactly how Caraldthas is laid out. You are going to be essential in the days to come.
Perhaps. We shall see.
Damn, it's freezing here. Aren't you cold?
I've spent many winters in libraries with no heating. After that, you hardly notice the cold. Which reminds me, do you know if the library in the city is still intact?
No idea. You looking for any book in particular?
Not a book, many books. The elves have the most advanced culture in the world. Their libraries contain works of inestimable value. We should find them.
I have other things I gotta do first. But I will try to go with you so you can find your books later. Do you have a moment? I wanted to ask you, what do you know about Caraldthas?
It's a very ancient city. The elves are master preservers of architecture. They shrink from destroying. You can find traces of Caraldthas in works that are over 1,000 years old. But the city also incorporates more primitive districts.
What happened here?
As far as I understand it, the elfin army was caught unaware.
They didn't stand a chance.
And how could they? Such magic requires the presence of a very powerful sorcerer. They rarely take to the battlefield. But when they do, all hope is lost. Rumor...
Who is this Blackfrost?
Don't tell me that you don't know the...
Don't take me for an idiot. I know what he is, but that doesn't really help much, does it?
He's one of the seven. He's known for his craftiness, his guile. He prefers using magic rather than his armies. In the past, he used to be more discreet. But for 2 years now, he's been leading the Deadwalkers.
What changed?
I don't know. The Ice Lords Alliance is a delicate balance. It is possible that this is the result of an internal power struggle. He has certain abilities that make him fit for the role. Blackfrost is without a doubt very effective.
Let's change the subject. Later.
What is it, Vulcan?
I wanted to, the Blades who were in the city.
I hope so. I really hope so. After all, They shouldn't have been taking part in the battle. Generally, the Ice Lords don't kill those they capture. They like to keep their prisoners close by.
What do you think of this situation?
The same as I always thought. That all of this fuss has made absolutely no difference. We are in the shite. And the only sensible thing to do is get the hell out of here as quick as possible.
You don't think we have any chance of winning?
How can you ask yourself that question? Standing in front of this devastation. Either you're blind or stupid. Good.
Do you know Caraldthas?
I came here a long time ago, at the beginning of the war. We hoped at the time that the elves would help us. They were soon disavowed of that little fant. There they were, all safe and sound in their city. When I learned that there was a battle brewing, and that the last of the human armies were gathering here, I sent a couple of our lads.
Let's change this. I have to go.
Huh. If I knew how messed up everything was gonna be.
I bet. But we're lucky you followed us. We could do with the goods.
Yeah, well, seeing what's left of the village, it's not like I had a choice.
Let me see what... Edwin, I need to speak to you.
What can I do for you?
I would like to ask you a few... I always hear people talking about the World Heart. What exactly is it?
First, forget all the children's stories about a friendly force for good. The World Heart is very real. It is from there that magic comes, as well as certain energies necessary for the proper functioning of our world. These energies can be captured and used.
The demon insists we must purify it. That mean anything to you?
It's a good bet it is referring indirectly to the Ice Lords. As you know, those magicians have access to immeasurable power. This power has an origin and a cost. They drew it from the World Heart with a veracity that is truly limitless. Imagine leeches sucking away endlessly on the energy which feeds them. To purify it, you'd have to rid the World Heart.
So all we have to do is go to this place nobody knows and clean out the all-powerful magical parasites. Aren't you cold like that?
Is that your polite way of suggesting I'm indecently dressed?
I was simply concerned about your health.
Oh, how touching. But after having spent nights on end, trapped in a cage in the middle of the swamps, I can assure...
We're going to try to take back the town.
Yes, of course. You'll need to locate a unicorn, a few leprechauns.
So you're saying it's impossible?
You catch on quickly. The might of the entire elven army was swept away in a few minutes. Be realistic. Your allies are disintegrating.
And then what? Wait for the war to be lost?
You could hide yourself and learn how to control your demon.
It's tempting. Yeah, why not? I'm getting a little tired of fighting for lost causes. Just let me get organized and we'll get the hell out of this town.
I cannot allow thee to simply flee. Step off of the path to the World Heart and I will kill her. I will kill thee as well if necessary.
Vulcan, are you still there? Did it speak to you?
Yeah. Seems like he's not a big fan of our plan to run away.
The need to reach its goal has grown too strong. Very well. Your demon will no doubt gain strength through combat.
I'm afraid you might be right. What happened at Caraldthas?
Wait until your enemies have gathered and then take them by surprise using magic. To cast a spell capable of freezing a river, he would have to be here in person. It's possible he could be your key to the World Heart. Find him and eliminate him, and the door to your goal will open.
Thanks.